The sun had just begun to set over the dusty plains when Ethan Cole, a quiet, loner rancher, rode into the small town of Redstone. He was a man who kept to himself, known for his solitude and the mystery surrounding his life. But that evening, something caught his attention, voices raised in cruelty, coming from behind the general store. As Ethan drew closer, he saw a heart-wrenching sight. A woman, her face smeared with soot, her hair roughly cut, stood trembling as a group of angry people shouted insults. Her in-laws stood among them, their faces cold and hateful. She had been punished, they said, for shaming their family after her husband's death. She was too proud, too defiant, and had no right to live under their roof anymore. Ethan dismounted quietly, his piercing gaze fixed on the broken woman. She looked no older than 30, her torn dress barely covering her bruised shoulders. No one tried to help her. The townsfolk just watched, some in pity, others in silence. That was the way of things in Redstone. People saw cruelty and looked away. But not Ethan Cole. He stepped forward, his boots crunching on the dirt. The crowd fell silent. "That's enough," he said, his voice low but sharp. One of the men turned, sneering. "Ain't your business, Cole. She's getting what she deserves." Ethan didn't answer. He walked straight to the woman, took off his coat, and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're coming with me," he said. The woman looked up in disbelief. Her lips trembled, her eyes filled with tears. You don't even know me." Ethan met her gaze steadily. "I don't need to. No one deserves this." The in-laws tried to object, but the cold steel in Ethan's eyes silenced them. Everyone knew what he was capable of. He was a man who had lost everything once and would never stand by and watch injustice again. With one firm hand, he helped her onto his horse and rode off into the fading light. Days later, on his ranch miles from town, the woman, Lydia, began to heal. She spoke little, spending hours staring at the horizon, trying to piece together her shattered pride. Ethan didn't press her. He gave her work, shelter, and most importantly, respect. Slowly, she found her voice again. She began to smile, to laugh softly when the horses nuzzled her hands, to cook meals that filled the quiet home with warmth. One evening, as the fire crackled and the wind howled outside, she turned to him and said, "You saved me when no one else would." "Why?" Ethan looked at her for a long moment and finally replied, "Because once, I wished someone had done the same for me." In time, Lydia's heart mended, and so did Ethan's. Two broken souls, brought together not by fate, but by the courage to show kindness in a cruel world. The town of Redstone would whisper about them for years, the loner rancher and the woman with the blackened face, two people who found light in each other when everyone else turned away. And every time Ethan passed through town again, people stepped aside, not out of fear, but out of respect for the man who reminded them what true strength looked like.